And we are freaking back. Another episode, the Pitre Podcast, episode 10 to be exact. And we are going to be tackling the gym in this episode. Well, more importantly, not just the gym, but workout culture in general. I feel like workout culture has definitely skyrocketed over the past couple years. I would say after COVID is when I really started to see it. So we're going to be tackling that. We're going to be tackling if, this steady focus or this, the steadfast focus of working out, it's good for our society. Or are we taking it a little bit to the extreme? So I'm going to be tackling all that on this episode here today. I love how just some of these topics are just really existential kind of topics where I have no expertise in whatsoever. It's just me kind of rambling on these topics, man, and just trying to tackle it at will. So I don't know why, I just really found that funny. It's just like, yo, who the hell is this guy to really talk about this stuff? But yeah, we're gonna get into it, man. And personally, this is coming from someone who works out, so I'm kind of a hypocrite there. I do have somewhat of an expertise in this field, if you will. Been working out for the past 4 years now, and I wouldn't even say I'm necessarily an expert because I'm not a personal trainer. I can't really tell you about fucking macros and micros or all that shit and like fucking hypothesis and freaking striations and all that stuff. I can't tell you about any of that stuff. I just know how to pick weight up, put weight down, and that's basically it. I kind of knew the basics and just, and learn different workouts from there, if you will. But yeah, like I'm not going to get into like the really scientific components into working out. Unfortunately, that is not my expertise. I think working out has gotten a little too scientific over the past couple of years, to be entirely honest with you. I feel like, before the mindset of like, you just go to the gym, you just fucking did whatever was there and you went back home. Now it's like, making sure you're in a calorie deficit, counting micros, cutting macros, making sure your protein intake is higher than like your carbohydrate intake. It's gotten way too crazy, man. And I guess if you're trying to have the most optimal body as possible, it is important to do that stuff. You can't just wing it. So like there is a method to the madness, if you will. But if you're someone who just wants to like work out, I don't think it's going to be necessarily relevant for you, but I'm jumping the gun here. I want to start from the very beginning. So I initially hated the gym. I'm going to be honest with you. I did not like the gym. So I did go a few times when I was a teenager, when I was in my early 20s, and I just did not like it. And I feel like that's the case for a lot of people. And I think the reason as to why people don't initially like the gym at first is like they have kind of a judgmental feel of it. Because when you go to a gym, you're going to see a bunch of people that are fit, obviously, like you're going to see a bunch of jacked dudes, now jacked women. You're going to see a bunch of jacked people or people who are in shape or who are fit. And for someone who is not fit going into that environment, it's extremely intimidating, especially when you don't know what you're doing too. So you're utilizing machines, or you're utilizing free weights, or you're utilizing barbells, and you're not sure if you're doing it correctly. You feel like everyone's kind of staring at you. You fucking are weak as fuck. Like you can't even curl a 20. I'm talking about a 20 barbell, and that's just a 20 dumbbell. Like you can't do anything. You're just weak, man. You're just like a frail fuck. And you just become self-conscious. You're like, damn, like I'm like it humbles you in a way, when you see everyone else's body and reflect it to your own. You're like, damn, like how do I get there? Do I even want to get there? Is that even the goal? Like clearly their body is better than mine. So it kind of persuades you to not want to go anymore, to avoid it altogether. Which that was definitely the case for me. I would say the few times that I went, there was like a time where I went for like 2 weeks straight and I was starting to actually enjoy it and I didn't go anymore. But for the most part, I honestly hated the gym up until like 2021 where I really started to work out. Now, I was never overweight my entire life. I was never overweight. I was always a twink. I was twinked out literally my whole life, bro. Like a certified twink nation. Like I was just twinking it, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. I was a twink. So let me see if I can actually pull up a freaking picture of how I look like prior to working out. I'm going to have to scroll for a minute in order to get here. But I started to work out, I would say October of 2021. Yes, October of 2021. So it's been about 4 years now. And again, those initial couple of days when you first start going to the gym, it sucks. Exactly for what I said it was beforehand. I didn't know what to do. I was kind of scared of lifting weights. So I primarily went into cardio. So I was just honestly running. And I got really good at running during that period of time. Like I would run, for like 30 minutes straight on like a 7, 8, or 9 speed on a treadmill, which is like to do that for 30 minutes straight. That is impressive to a degree, So there was times where I would run, 10, 15 minutes straight at like an 11 speed. So I got really good at running until I freaking like hurt my Achilles tendon, which is the tendon that's on the back of your heel bone, like right above it. So a lot of runners face that. People who are marathon runners or play soccer, etc., like that's the one thing that hurts them the most or tends to get injured. So that happened to me. Got to the point where I could barely fucking walk. So I'm like, all right, I clearly can't run for the next couple of weeks. So I'm just going to start lifting weight. Got into lifting weights, never went back to cardio. Literally. Once I started lifting weights, I was like, yo, this is way better than just running. I'm just going to do this. This is way cooler. Fuck cardio. Cardio is for bitches. So I just transitioned into fucking lifting, man. And thank God when I started lifting, I wasn't one of those people and I'm still scrolling to get to these twink images, man, these twink pictures. So thankfully, I wasn't one of those people that were against doing leg day because my legs were trash. Like my legs have always been trash. My legs now are good as far as like how they look. They look relatively muscular, have relatively, muscular thigh muscles, muscular calves, etc. But at first, like my leg genetics were not it, bro. I had the John Jones leg genetics, man. Anyone knows John Jones, MMA fighter, he's known for having like these skinny ass legs. That was me, man. Like I just had skinny ass legs. And yes, I was a skinny ass dude. It was a twink. So obviously you're not seeing twinks out here with like giant calf muscles. It doesn't make sense. But when it comes to legs in particular, legs, a lot of it's based into genetics. So there's people who are literally born with giant calf muscles. I think that's pretty common amongst Asian people, especially Koreans. Like they just have like these massive fucking calves for no reason. It's just genetically in them. And for some people, they don't have it. And the same thing goes for glutes. Same thing goes for upper body as well, and broad shoulders, etc. So some people just have naturally great legs for no reason at all. And some people just had, frail legs. And I was one of those dudes with chicken legs. So I knew that right off the bat. So I was humble about it. And I really was adamant about working on my legs and growing my legs more along with my upper body. I feel like guys get into the habit of just doing upper body, especially younger dudes, and they start to look ridiculous as they get bigger upper body wise and then have these really small legs. On women is the opposite end of the spectrum. So for women is more so working out the lower body than upper body. So like working out the ass, the quads, the hamstrings, the calves, etc. So they get really focused on growing that, but you have to balance it out. That's the one thing I would say above all else is to balance it out. If you're going to go to the gym, if you're going to lift weights, you got to do both. You can't just do one. If you have like a deformity, or if you have like a kind of disability, if you will, whether it be in your legs or whether it be in your upper body, where you can't lift as heavy or like you can't like lift a particular side of your body, totally understand that. At that point, consult a professional. But if you're just a normal person, definitely please do both. And let me get back to scrolling to find these twink pictures, because I really want to show you these twink pictures, man. I was soaking wet, probably 150, 155 at 5'9". So I was a really, really fucking really skinny guy. Right now I weigh, just checked yesterday, 196 at 5'9". So I've literally gained 40 pounds. Thankfully, not all of it in fat. That would be depressing. But primarily most of it in muscle. So I don't know how big I'm looking in this video. I don't think I look that big, to be honest with you. Maybe I look bigger in person. But bro, I was a twink, man. Literally. I'm trying to find these twink photos. Okay, I'm literally like in 2021 right now, still scrolling to find them. It's insane. Yeah, bro, this is me. I actually look gay as fuck in this picture, but look at it. Look at that twink. You can't really see, but man, that was a 155 Noah right there, wearing a fucking small, dude. I can't even fit in the small. I would rip smalls to shreds if I try to put anything on that's a small. What's another picture? Bro, my arms, like, oh my God, I look literally anorexic. Why did I allow myself to kind of look like that? I don't know. It is what it is. But anyway, yeah, I started my fitness journey in 2021. Been working out literally like 5 to 7 days a week since. And my best advice for someone who wants to start working out is, of course, to work out both upper body and lower body, but also to know your limits. You know, when you first start working out, especially when you're on the younger side, there's going to be times where you're like, yo, I want to hit chest 3 days in a row. Don't do chest 3 days in a row, bro. Don't do it. Because if you do it, you're going to fuck up your shoulder muscles. And you're saying, yo, I'm working chest, not arms. Your shoulder muscles are a big component into your lifting ability. So you're going to fuck those up. And if you fuck those up, bro, you fuck everything up. That affects everything, upper body. So definitely try to balance it out between doing arms, doing legs, doing chests, doing back. There's times that you can, mix up the two, like push and pull, which is like chest and back, etc. But try not to hit the same thing over and over and over again, day after day after day in a row, because you're going to fuck that up. Another thing as well, if you're young and you're getting into lifting, please stretch. That's a really big thing that I did not do the first, admittingly, 2 years into my lifting journey. I did not stretch, man. I just went to the gym and just started to work out right after. It was retarded. I was an idiot. And it's going to catch up with you. Thankfully, I was young and I didn't really hurt myself too bad. But dude, if I lift too heavy, one of my shoulders hurts. My left wrist is fucked. Sometimes it starts hurting. If I lift too heavy and I didn't stretch it out properly, my knees are garbage, which is probably because I was just fucking hitting the squat rack without stretching out, putting up 2 plates, 2.5 plates, squatting 225, 275, 300 pounds, no prep, just fucking jumping right in there. And that's why my fucking knees are bummed, On top of, my body is not being able to effectively handle my weight, because running around at 196 ain't easy, So definitely stretch. Definitely take it easy. Don't do too many of the same things in a row for a week. Kind of balance it out. Find out your schedule. Mix up between lifting heavy and lifting light. You don't have to try to hit a PR every time you go to the gym. I know as a guy, that's something you would like to do because you want to feel yourself getting stronger. You want to, push yourself to the limit, to the max, and strive for greatness, if you will, and try to get better every single time you go. I totally understand that. It's definitely a young man's mindset. You're going to end up injuring yourself and tearing something. Your body, it's going to catch up with you. It's going to be a time where, especially as you get older, you're going to try to hit that PR and your body's going to say, nah, we're not doing it today. Completely just give out on you, and you end up fucking tearing something or spraining something. This has happened to me, man. Trust me, I'm speaking from experience. So definitely try to leverage lifting light and lifting heavy for 1 week. Lift light for 1 week. Lift heavy. If you're gonna lift light, do more reps. If you're gonna lift heavy, do less reps. That's actually key for optimal growth. So it's not like you're gonna stunt your growth if you're lifting light. Like, if you're doing everything properly, you will still grow. So that's another key component to that as well. So that's just personally my experience lifting. Going to the gym, I personally find it fun now. I don't ever have to think about going to the gym. I just do it out of habit, literally. I just go and just do it. If I don't go to the gym, if I don't do any kind of workout or fitness in the last couple of days or so, I get antsy. I just have to go and do it. That's not going to be the case when you first do it. I would say the first 3 weeks are going to be the hardest, because you're building up a habit. 21 days, right? So you're building up a habit to go. So those first couple of days are going to suck, especially if in that first week, because you're going to be extremely sore because you've never lifted before. So you never worked out before. So your body is not used to it. I can hit a hard workout today. Tomorrow I feel perfectly fine. Someone who doesn't lift at all, they can hit a hard workout. The next day they're going to be in pain because their body's not used to it. Your body's not adjusted to that kind of, rigorous exercise and just like constantly tearing up the muscles and rebuilding it. So your first couple of times going to the gym, take it on the lighter side. Even if you feel like, yo, I can lift heavier, I got this, like I can do more, just take it on the lighter side. Because if you don't take it on the lighter side, one, you're going to hurt yourself. You're going to feel sore in the next couple of days. And you're going to be so sore that you're not going to want to go again because you think that's going to be long term where you're going to feel, when in reality this only happens in the beginning, and as you start to go more and more and more, the soreness honestly kind of leaves. Like, it's rare for me to feel sore the next day regarding any workout I do, to be honest with you. So definitely keep it light, keep going. Even if you don't want to go anyway. You're going to feel accomplished and happy that you went. So don't give in to your emotions and your feelings and just keep going. I know there's a lot of fitness influencers who really preach that shit and that kind of stuff. And, they get all fucking gospelish with it. If that motivates you, cool. If that doesn't motivate you, cool. Just go, because you'll feel better afterwards. That's my personal opinion there. And, from my experience as well. So the first 21 days is going to suck, but keep going. And of course, to lift light as well. And you just got to stay consistent. As you stay consistent, you start to enjoy it. You start to want to go. It becomes like a lifestyle or a habit. So that's personally my experience working out. Those are some of my best advice or best practice, if you will, if you're going to start to work out. But as far as like the surge of people working out, because back to what I was saying beforehand, when I started to do a little bit of working out back in like 2017, 2018, 2019, it was still popular, but it wasn't as popular now. Now it kind of surged in popularity. I would say it's starting to die down a little bit in comparison to how it was, but I think a big component to it and why it got so popular was because of the pandemic. The pandemic, it forced everyone to be home. And usually when you force people to do something, they want to do the exact opposite. So at least for me, speaking of me. So if you force people to be home and they can't go out, they're going to want to find something to do and not do nothing, or want to go out, because they're naturally going to want to do the opposite where you're telling them to do. So people start to work out. People started to get into fitness. People started to work out at home, and once the gym started to open up, they started to want to go to the gym because those are one of the only things that were open, for a couple weeks into the pandemic and that kind of stuff, when things started to open up. So that's when I started to get into the gym. I got into the gym where there was still a mask mandate the first couple of weeks, where you had to fucking wear a mask. And bro, wearing a surgical mask when you're running for 30 minutes at an 8, 9, or 10 speed, that shit fucking sucks, bro. Fuck Fauci. We did not need to be wearing surgical mask. It was. I'm not trying to get into that either, because I took the vaccine, etc. It is what it is, whatever. But yo, you had me running for my life, borderline sprinting in a surgical mask for nothing. Literally for nothing. What was the point in all that? We just wasted thousands of dollars, hundreds of dollars, over the course of the entire American people during that time, millions of dollars on buying surgical masks and just masks in general, for it to not even have a fucking real purpose. So that fucking sucked. But yeah, I started to work out when it was that initial surge of people working out after the pandemic. And I would say definitely 2021, 22 was insane as far as how many people were in the gym. During this time, I was living in Queens, and the gym that I went to was really, really small. New York City gyms are really, really small because the space is only so much space you can have. So as I was lifting, man, it would just get packed. Literally, I would have to wait fucking 20 minutes for one machine, each and every time. So I'd hit 5, 6 machines, and I'd be there for excuse me, 2.5 hours. So after a while, the shit starts to suck. He starts to be like, yo, like, why am I even here? I'm freaking waiting for every little thing. Like, this is terrible. Like, this is horrendous. So those first like 2 years after the pandemic really sucked. And there was like a really big spike when I start to look at the number of people who are going to the gym at this time. So from what I've seen from the data, gym usage nearly doubled in comparison to pre-pandemic levels. So it rised 90% globally as a whole. And the number of gym memberships in the US reached a record high of 64.2 million in 2023. So in 2023 is where it peaked, which is insane. Like, it literally doubled. So imagine if 50 people went to the gym pre-pandemic, now you have 100 people going to the gym post-pandemic. And a lot of gyms can't really handle that kind of capacity. The gym that I went to definitely couldn't handle that kind of capacity. So we were packed like sardines in there, man. Like, it was ridiculous. But I made the most of it, and it was still an enjoyable experience for the most part. Not only that, one thing that I saw in going from the gym pre-pandemic and going to the gym post-pandemic is the amount of women going to the gym as well. There was always women going to the gym pre-pandemic, but I feel like it definitely spiked post-pandemic. But not only that, the kind of workouts women started to do was different as well. Like, pre-pandemic, women primarily focused on like lower body workouts, that kind of stuff. And also, like, if they had it available in the gym, like Pilates and those kind of classes. And post-pandemic, women were just focused on getting jacked, which is fire. I am not complaining. I'm not one of those dudes that are like, oh, like if a woman's has muscles unattractive. Like, nah, son. Give me all the muscles, son. Give me the fucking muscle mommies. The muscle mommies are to die for, literally. Like, if a woman has like some good back muscles, I'm all in. I'm all in, bro. I'm excited. Literally, I just thought of fucking women back muscles in my mind. And I just got excited, bro. Got amped up, bro. Got some blood flow down there, literally. So that's what hypes me up. Like, if a woman, you can tell she has some strong arms. I'm not talking about looking like fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger or anything like that. Like, clearly just fit, just someone who can definitely handle her own when it comes to lifting weights. Like, for what Joe Rogan said, like, he likes a woman who looks like she can help him lift a couch, which I do too. Like, that's what I like. That's just me. I understand a lot of like the older generation, a lot of people who don't lift don't like that. They like their women very dainty and small. Don't want that, bro. I want my broads muscular. I want some fucking thick ass leg muscles, bro. That's what I want. That's what I find attractive at the end of the day. It is what it is. To each their own. But anyway, going back to the topic at hand, women transitioned from doing primarily lower body workouts, light weights, Pilates, yoga, that kind of stuff, to lifting weights. From what I've seen, and the data actually supported that as well. So strength training amongst women, whoa, I'm blanking out there. I was trying to say the word in my mind. My mind was not letting me say the word. I don't know. Maybe I had a mini stroke. I should go to the hospital after. But anyway, like, strength training amongst women shot up post-pandemic. And yeah, there was a significant rise to the past couple of years. The trend was fueled by growing awareness for numerous benefits. What the fuck is English right now? For resistance training for women, in both terms of physical and mental health as well. So amateur weightlifting participation amongst women has fivefold. So it didn't double, it multiplied by 5. So that's the amount of women who are getting into these competitions nowadays. And this is a time period between 2016 to 2020. And CrossFit being like a huge participation into the women's fitness movement as well. So I've never personally done CrossFit. CrossFit is like a mix between weight training and also like cardio and calisthenics. It's like a mix of basically everything. It's very popular amongst women. I personally never tried it. I don't think I would like it, to be honest with you. Maybe I gotta try it one day in order to see. But that's something that has led to these participations in these kind of sports from women. So definitely my observation really led to the data showing that women are freaking lifting heavier more than ever, which is amazing. I'm all here for it. I have no objections. But besides just working out, because I know we talked about the gym a lot on this podcast episode here, but I want to emphasize just the importance of working out or doing anything active as a whole, because for you, your thing might not even be the gym. Like I could be sitting here and gaslighting the gym and sucking off the gym and kind of like, trying to convince you to go, and you take my word for it and you go and you stay there for 21 days and you're consistent and you still somehow hate it, which is fine. Like a lot of people are like that. And maybe you just don't want to deal with the peer pressure that comes from being in a gym. And I totally understand that as well. But I do emphasize the need for just being active as a whole. So if you're not going to go to the gym, just be active in some other endeavor. So if you're a former athlete, you played soccer or volleyball or football in high school or college, and go back to playing those sports. Of course, you're not going to play it at those levels, but you can find, places where you can play those kind of sports recreationally all the time. That's what I do for soccer. Like I just play a recreational soccer that has like a league format and has like a promotion and relegation structure, and it's fun. It's competitive, but like, we're not going to get paid for this shit. We're not going to go pro. Everyone kind of understands that, so it doesn't get that intense, but it's still fun and competitive, and if it feels worthwhile and fulfilling. So you should get into doing those sports. And if you want to join the league, it's cool. Like you can find up a meetup group that can help you play these sports and just like in a group together and just have fun. The main focus is just having fun and just being active. If you're just being active and having fun, that's cool. And if you don't like group sports like that, and you prefer like tennis or like running or I don't know. It could be anything. Like you could sit there and go to the park and fucking have a lightsaber fight. But if it gives you a good workout and you're having fun, bro, do it. Like, who am I to judge? Like, I might even fucking join you because that honestly sounds really fun. So just find a reason to be active as much as possible and just do that. And if you're someone that's on the heavier side and you are just like, yo, I literally can't be active, like I can barely fucking move, then work your way up. Like, it's going to take a while, baby steps, but it will compound over time. So just start walking. Literally, just start walking. If you can't make it a mile, walk for a quarter of a mile. Do that consistently. Then you'll start to walk half a mile. Then you'll start to walk, 3/4 of a mile. You get to a mile. You walk to 2 miles, 3 miles, 4 miles, 5 miles, etc. And then you can start jogging or you can get into other activities. So just be active as much as possible. One, because it's good for your mental health from what we've seen. Also, of course, it's good for your physical health. So I want you to be mentally strong and I want you to be as physically strong for as long as humanly possible. Another thing that's really polarizing about the kind of fitness community now, it's primarily like the younger generation, so Gen Z, like the tail end of millennials as well, but it's mostly Gen Z that's creating this content, and it's kind of all over social media. Like, if you go in your search history and it's just like nonstop gym influencers, and especially if someone who goes to the gym and who lifts, like it's just, you see it all the time. Like it's everywhere basically. Like I can't get away from it. And I feel like the kind of material that's out there has differed from what it was in the past. I feel like the workout material, the gym influencers in the past, they literally gave you workout routines to do. So they're like, hey, do this instead of this. Lift it this way and not this way, or this is the most optimal way to bench, or you should stay away from these foods, or you should consume this kind of protein powder, or that kind of content. I feel like the gym influencer content now is just more sexualization than ever. So it got away from informational based on how to, optimally do these workouts. And now it's more so just like, look at my body. You know, you would see, and it's like multiple cutscenes too. Whereas before it was just like, a long drawn out kind of video. Now it's just a short clip or a short video of like 10 different cutscenes. And it's just them doing like literally one rep of one workout, another rep of another workout, another rep for another workout, another rep for another workout. No talking, and that's basically it. Just them showing off their body, posing in the mirror at the end, posing in the mirror in the beginning, etc. I feel like that's all gym content now, and honestly, I am not here for that gym content. I'm not a fan of it. I don't consume it. I don't follow any gym influencers for that kind of reason, because the fuck am I benefiting from that? What am I benefiting seeing you stand in the mirror if you're a dude with your shirt off, flexing your abs, or if you're a woman just flexing your ass? 1 second snippets of you doing one rep of like 9 different workouts, end the video of you flexing your abs, flexing your ass, and that's it. Like, you didn't even say anything in the entire video. It's just over sexualization nowadays. I feel like definitely a lot of the female fitness influencers just create videos like that to like promote their OnlyFans, which I'm going to go into the whole OnlyFans thing in our society and our culture nowadays. That's going to be a whole other episode. I'm actually excited to tackle that topic. But I'm not going to go into it here. I feel like women fitness influencers are just promoting their OnlyFans nowadays. I don't even know what the men influencers are fucking promoting. I would hope not their OnlyFans. We can't have men and women both doing OnlyFans, fucking OnlyFans and Only Pipes. Like, we can't do that, bro. So I don't even know what they're promoting, but I feel like they're doing the exact same shit. And I don't care for that, If you're gonna post like gym content or workout content to some degree, like, I would want it to be informative. I would want to learn something as someone who, and maybe I'm just looking at it as like someone who, in the lens of someone who works out pretty regularly now. My chair is creaking like crazy. Sorry about that. Hopefully it doesn't get any audio. But for someone who works out regularly, I don't want to just sit there and admire bodies. For someone who doesn't work out, I guess this can be beneficial because you're like, wow, like, look at that person's body. Like, if I work out, I can do that. So maybe it like motivates you to do that, motivates you to work out. But as someone who already works out, who has been every single day for the last 4 years, looking at someone's, like a dude's jacked body, or looking at, a woman's ass, or they're flexing their legs in the fucking gym mirror, that doesn't motivate me to work out, because I already work out. I already do it. I don't need motivation to do it. I'm already doing the damn thing. So if it's not informative and helping me get better, I just look at that content as honestly useless. And it's definitely like, this is something that's occurring from Gen Z than it is from like millennials and some of the older generation. And again, not everyone is like that, and not all of that material is bad. For instance, there's a woman fitness influencer who doesn't really do any speaking or talking, or doesn't give any information to the workouts, but the workout she does portray is very impressive. Like, she would do muscle ups with like a 45-pound weight attached to her hip, or she would do like these crazy calisthenic push-ups and like these kind of explosive calisthenic workouts that like I can't even do. Like, I can't do a muscle up with 45 pounds, carrying 45 pounds. I can do pull-ups with 45 pounds. I did that multiple times, but a muscle up, I can't do that. So the fact that she can do that is extremely impressive. So like, again, that's content that's not necessarily informative, but it is very impressive, and it makes me want to watch it and be in awe. Like, oh my God, that's fucking insane. That's crazy. But for the most part, these women are not doing that. These fitness influencers, they're just like showing their ass, promoting their brand or their OnlyFans. So she's kind of the exception to the rule. Fortunately, I don't know her name to promote it. I'm sorry. I can probably give it in post. But just to say, not all that content is bad, but most of it, at least for me, I find it kind of useless, to be honest. And last but not least, with this gym obsession, especially for the younger generation, is it a net positive or a net negative? I am someone who firmly believes that too much of something can be bad even if it's good, right? Like, from a literal standpoint, if you drink too much water, you can actually die from it. You would have to drink absurd amounts of water in order for water poisoning to happen, but it is possible. Like too much of a good thing can lead to ultimately a bad thing. So is this obsession with the gym and with our physiques a bad thing? I'm going to say, as of right now, especially for our society and our culture and for the younger generation, I think it's a good thing for right now. And the reason because of that is because I can only talk for American culture. Americans are fat as fuck, bro. We're fat as fuck. Now, there's two reasons behind why we're being so fucking fat. One is because our food is bad. Like, American food is literally terrible. There's so much toxins, so much unnecessary preservatives and things that don't belong in there in our food. And it's in everything. Like, it's in everything quite literally everything we eat. You pick up the label for anything you eat in a day and you would see that there's fucking unnecessary additives and toxins to it. Even if you buy organic, it's still in there as well. So America's food is quite literally some of the worst in the world. I think it's definitely the worst as far as like first world countries goes. And that compounds over time. That makes you gain weight. And once you have the weight, it makes it harder to lose the weight. Like, for instance, when I went to Colombia for 3 weeks, I lost like 10 pounds and I was eating like a fucking chancho there. Like I wasn't even eating healthy. I was eating bad. I thought I was eating extremely bad and I still lost weight because the food there was just so much healthier than the food here, And I know multiple people who have went to Spain or went to other countries where they lost the weight immediately but struggled to lose the weight in America. So that's a really, really, really big component into like the obesity epidemic in America as a whole. And I think we really need to change that. But I don't see it being changed because these food companies lobby on behalf of, them being allowed to literally freaking kill us through these terrible foods and poison us, if you will. So we'll see if it changes under this administration. They've been talking about it, but let's see how it goes. So that's one reason as to why America has such an obesity epidemic. The other one is kind of like the culture of America. So America is just like, eat as much as you want, like, it's your life, this is your freedom. Just fucking go crazy if you want. You're free. Land of the free, home of the brave, fucking eat whatever you want. It is what it is. Like, just fucking do what you want. It's kind of just like the American culture, if you will. But not only that, like I would say definitely within the millennials and for the older generations, there wasn't really an emphasis on working out. Even if you watch like sitcoms from the 90s, from the 80s, they would portray people who worked out as kind of like weird in a way, or kind of like abnormal. Like people who are really into fitness, they would portray them as like freaks, if you will. So it wasn't necessarily that common to be working out back then in comparison to now. So the fact that we're really starting to work out and get fit and starting to, really take care of our health and our bodies, I think is a net positive, especially for the younger generation. So for right now, I'd say it's a positive, but it can eventually become a negative. And what we mean by that is, from at least I'm speaking on my behalf, the more I started to work out, the worse I felt about my body. And it's an oxymoron. It shouldn't make sense at all. You would think I would start to feel better about my body, but it's not the case. And this is literally the case for most people that I know who work out as well. Like that first initial stages of working out, and you start to see those results and everything is coming in the way you like it. Like, that part is fun, and you start to feel more positive about your body in the beginning. But after a while, you start to hate your body in a way. You're like, yo, like, why do I got these chinchos? Like, I fucking work out so much. Like, what? Like, why do I have this fucking belly fat here? This belly fat doesn't want to go away. Or I wish my pecs are bigger. Or I wish my arms are bigger. Or I wish my legs are bigger. Or no matter how many times I work out this muscle, it doesn't grow to the size that I wanted to. Or this person in the gym has a better body than me. Or this person in the gym has better arms than me. Or this person, can't lift as heavy as me, but for some reason has bigger muscles than me. So you start to just kind of like hate your body in a way the longer you work out. And this is the case for a lot of people, not the case for everyone, but it's the case for a lot of people. And that can definitely, the more people who work out in a generation, this can amplify. So we can have an entire generation of people who are fit but have body image issues, people who kind of like hate their body or are taking, body positively to the extreme to the point where it becomes negative, where they start take products like fucking Ozempic or, like steroids or things such as that to look as lean or as fit as possible when they don't really need to. So that's what I'm saying, that it can possibly become a negative. But for right now, I think overall as a positive, this country should focus on being as fit and active as possible. And eventually, if we really, really focus and obsess about that, it's going to become negative down the line. But I'd rather face the consequences of it becoming a negative than from what it is right now of the obesity issue in America, So that goes episode 10 of the Pitre Podcast, going into the workout culture, gym culture. Is it healthy or not? My mouth is extremely, extremely dry right now. I have cotton mouth, so I'm definitely going to drink a shit ton of water right after this. And I'll catch you guys next week. Bye.